Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Shide representing Synchronic Gaming. Today we have some great content for you. We are going to be teaching you guys how to use the Root Riders with the Overgrowth spells so you guys can have more success in your wars. So let's get right into the guide. So today we're going to have Simon from Synchronic Gaming, one of our professional players, teaching you guys how to use the Overgrowth spell. So we have got one Overgrowth spell, we've got 8 Root Riders and 8 Valkyries, and look at the time he took to take down this base, 1 minute and 24 seconds. So we're going to be breaking down a few of his attacks, how he did it, so that you guys can understand and kind of incorporate this in towards your clan war leagues or regular wars, or even if you're a competitive player, you can incorporate this into your own arsenal of attacks. So early on, here's the main portion of this army, right? So we get a siege barracks over at the 12 o'clock side of the base. So basically, essentially, these P.E.K.K.A.s and the wizards, their job is to pick off this AD, this arch tower, and then work their way down and hopefully pick off this queen, where we have our Root Riders coming into the middle of the base to pick off this eagle. We've got this high damage core, but we have got an Overgrowth spell, so we will get into that one in just a second. Queen is now going to walk all the way from the 9 all the way down to the 6 o'clock side, picking off this royal champion, getting a bit more value over at the bottom side as well. So that kind of keeps the Root Riders narrow, compact, so they can push through this base as quickly as possible. So here we go, fast deployment. We use the king as well into the core because that gauntlet ability is absolutely perfect. Now look at this, double rage. It's kind of similar to how you would use E-Drags, and the main reason we double rage is because we're going to have a split on our Root Riders. Some are going to go to the right, some are going to go to the left. So with that Warden Eternal Tome, we keep the Valkyries, the Root Riders nice and healthy so they can push in unison and take down this base together. So that's going to be a key factor. Of course, a lot of people have Ice Golems in the CC, which can be a little bit problematic sometimes, but with Root Riders it's perfectly fine. Now, look at this, guys. He managed to get the Monolith, the 2 single target Infernos, 2 Archer Towers, as well as a couple of those attack builders or the battle builders inside of that Overgrowth, which a max one I believe lasts either 23 or 25 seconds. So now all of that damage is completely negated, which means he can now push on and take down the other areas of interest, which being the 2 scatter shots over here and here, and the 2 ricochet cannons as well over at the 2 and 8 o'clock side of the base. So let's start playing this attack over. The Root Riders as well, some of them are stuck with the Ice Golem, so we got that poison spell down. Very important. But this is where things get very nice. That gauntlet right there, taking down that single Inferno. Now there's not too much base remaining right here, which is really nice. So he did end up using a wall breaker for his queen, which gives her accessibility for this ground expo. We also use the super barbs to kind of tank for the queen, also to take out this trash ring around the base so that we can force our queen to go into compartments we need her to go into. Royal Champion is very important, right? So guys, this is the best equipment you can use on your Royal Champion for the majority of the time, and that's the Haste Vial and the Hog Puppet. It makes your Royal Champion absolutely broken. As well with the Queen, especially with this attack, normally people use the Healer Puppet, but you can use the Frozen Arrow and the Invisibility Vial, which is completely fine. But look, there's hardly anything left. We still have that Queen ability, still have the Royal Champion ability, and this base is absolutely crushed. Simone does it time and time again. It's so effortless for him, guys, and if you incorporate some of the ways that he attacks into your strategy, you will get better sooner than you know it. So if you do want to copy and paste the army, here it is. I'll also leave a link to the army down in the description below. Okay guys, so here we go. Now the last one was a box base. It was kind of like, you know, an anti-3 box base, but here we have a common anti-2-star base. You'll see it a lot in Legends. You'll probably see it a lot in your wars. Simone is going to show you guys how to take this specific base down, which is going to be absolutely huge. Now you're going to see a common theme. Siege barracks over This time at the 3 o'clock side, Queen is going to work her way up to the 6 o'clock side. He has got the wall breakers essentially for the Queen. Still rocking that Overgrowth spell as well. Root Riders in between the Siege Barrack and the Queen to push their way in forward to the base. The Overgrowth spell right here is going to be absolutely essential. Now watch the timing of this Overgrowth, because we want to pop it before that back end poison tower goes down. But in the meantime, this is absolutely perfect, because we saw that there was a ring and there's also like a dead zone around the core of the base. So these Root Riders are going to essentially wrap to the outside before they go in. So that warding ability was timed absolutely perfectly to catch all of the Root Riders within side of that tome before they split off. And it's essential that you catch the Root Riders as well as the Valkyries inside of the tome. And that way it will ensure you guys to be a little bit more successful with your attacks and keep high damage on these defenses to take them down as quickly as possible. As you can see, the Overgrowth, it was really, really nice. We keep up the monolith right here, and the reason we keep up that mono is because we have our royal champion, as you see, coming on in from the top side here. So not overgrowthing this monolith allows the RC to pick you off early, which reduces the damage in the core once the overgrowth wears off as well. But in the meantime, we still have our king ability. They're running rampant around the outside as well, so we got loads of overgrowth value. Now our heroes are going to pick up the remainder of the defenses, so we do keep a couple of the defenses, like I said, on overgrowth, because this mono is very annoying if it's one of the last defenses up. So you want to take that down nice and early. Royal champion will deal with that. That's why we dropped the raid spell for her. So there you have it. The RC is going to pick off that multi, will make her way to the mortar, then come back over towards this monolith and also take down the king. We also didn't get the scatters at the front as well, or one of the scatters at the front, so we can reduce damage into the core, which is essential, because now here we have it. We have the core overgrowth that's run out, but we don't have our king in the core just yet, so we're waiting for our king to step back in. RC is doing a great job, but this king gauntlet in the core, look at this, guys, didn't even get to the town hall in time because the royal champion is so strong. But essentially you always want your king to step to the inside of the core when the overgrowth runs out, so his gauntlet with that rage absolutely decimates the core. And honestly, 9 out of 10 times, as long as your king doesn't find a tornado trap, he will absolutely obliterate the middle of the base. Okay, so you guys should recognize this base. It was actually one of the Synchronic bases that held a, I believe, a 1-star against Arium of VM Legacy. No. This held P. Castro to a 1-star against Navi, actually. So we're going to show you guys how Simone approaches this base right here. Again, a very, very wide funnel. Siege Barracks at one side, Queen at the other side. It's a consistent occurrence right here. Root Riders into one compartment right there, followed by the Valkyries and the King. Now, the main reason we do this is because we want to take down as much buildings as we essentially can, or the higher DPS areas, because if we spread all of our Root Riders across the whole top side, they wouldn't be able to push into this scatter and this this ricochet cannon area, which then would have led to a little bit of extra damage that the Root Riders would have to endure, and it could make the hit really close or take down too many troops. So you want to send your Root Riders into high DPS areas early on, so you can catch him in that ward and turn it on, keep him nice and alive, rage through that so that you can power through the high DPS as well. Now the RC coming on in from the top side to remain this funnel. Now this was a beautiful overgrowth because we catch one scatter, we catch the poison tower, we get the monolith this time. We decide to go for the mono, but it leaves the scatter, the multi and the ricochet cannon. So it kind of, in a way, we are hiding some of the high DPS defenses, but we're leaving a few exposed so that the Root Riders can power through some of them and then deal with the rest later. That way it ensures that we're not having to have too much damage on our troops at one time, which could allow the troops to fizzle out. So it's a perfect example of how to negate damage off your troops so that you can utilize the remainder of the damage and take it down and use it to your advantage to power on through the base. And as you may have noticed, a lot of these bases have triple ice golem CCs because it's what's meta. You also see rocket loons, but as long as you have a poison, honestly, it's completely fine. But one thing that you do need to keep in mind is you have to be very, very efficient with your spell usage. Of course, the Root Riders being extremely OP at the moment. Now, look at this. The Overgrowth runs out. The King is in the core. Freeze on the Town Hall, boys. Are you ready for absolute carnage in the middle of the base? We are going to see this base go down relatively fast right here. The Invis Tower keeps the Town Hall alive for just a little bit longer, but it's not going to really matter. King Gauntlet ability, it two-shots pretty much any building right there. 3-shotting the Town Hall, 2-shotting the Scatter, and it's absolutely gone. As long as your King is there or thereabouts in the core, there's no way anything is going to stop you with these Root Riders whatsoever. Okay guys, this is going to be the last attack to showcase to you guys, so we're going to break this one down as well. This is a little bit of a different entry point. You don't realistically see too much against ring bases. Now, the reason that he's deploying the Root Riders in the siege bags the way that he is, so the Queen over at the 10 o'clock side, because we've got all of these storages, right? Root Riders, they're a defense targeting troop. So you want to get rid of all of this stuff, essentially for cleanup early on. But because of how the base is spread out, it kind of tries to force your troops away from the Town Hall to achieve as many 1-stars as possible, right? So what we're going to do here, Siege Barracks over at the 2 o'clock side is going to clear all of this out. We're going to send our Root Riders into this section right here with the Expo. They'll go to the Mortar, they'll go to the Ricochet, and then that's when we're going to get our split. It's going to go into the Multi, the Warden, and then some are going to go down here. But essentially, once they get to this Mortar, that's when our Root Riders get very, very dangerous, because they have a nice path into the core as well as down towards that Queen as well. So that's going to help us push through. So identifying the pathing of the defenses is going to be absolutely pivotal, especially for ring bases as well. And on this one, you're going to see we're going to kind of hold off on the Warden just a little bit until the Headhunters catch up. And look at this now. Because we have that pathing nice and set for the Root Riders, everything's going to push on through. The Overgrowth comes in over that Town Hall area, gets the Scatter, gets the Inferno, gets a Ricochet and a Multi-Archer Tower right here. Then we bring the RC in for support to pick off this Monolith essentially. But like, there's not a lot of damage remaining on this base right here. Apart from that one Scatter shot on this Monolith, everything else is kind of covered. So you don't need to worry about that damage as of yet, which is completely fine. So we end up using our Super Barbs. This is something that's essential, especially if you're going for time. You want to clear out the trash ring on the outside, pick off some of the outlaying defenses as well, so your Root Riders stay towards the middle of the base. Now look, the King is going to turn around in just a second and look at the carnage he's going to cause. CC goes down, Town Hall goes down. The Gauntlet is absolutely unstoppable at Town Hall 16. If you guys don't have it, make sure you get it, because it is absolutely essential to 3-star with it. It's one of the best equipments you can use on any hero, but obviously it's only for the King, but it's the best equipment for sure. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that little guide from the Synchronic boys as well. If you did, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. It's been a pleasure being your host. Thank you so much for watching, and we are out. Peace.